facility offered by the Bank of Industry is far, far softer than the commercial banks. And the duration of the tenure of the loan is also a long-term kind of facility. So it's much, much better, more friendly to entrepreneurs, particularly small-scale entrepreneurs. If it is buying and trading, one can jump into the commercial bank. But why you have to go for processing, manufacturing, it's impossible because the interest rate in the commercial banks is not comparable to what obtains in the Bank of Industry. The Bank of Industry charges less than 10%. So I think I must commend the bank for coming to my how can I say, support or whatever it is. And within a matter of 2-3 months, the approval was there. So I imported the machines. I started importation of these machines from China, but now I've gone to the West. I've imported another machine from Italy or Europe. So I think my capacity is now about more than double what I started with. I will still need more. I'm just trying to, after maybe clearing the first facility, to see how I can expand, because there's a lot of opportunities in this granite business. Because the granite business in Nigeria has just started. If you go to Europe or other developed countries, you find that there's no any building that has no granite fittings in it, both internally and externally. So there's a lot of scope and potential for the business. I started with a small machine where just about 5 of us. I started with manual machines, with only one machine with one blade. We're just about 5 of us. But now when I expanded, brought in more automated machines, we expanded the workforce from 5 people to 60. It's quite a big jump. Yes.
During our interaction with him, we realized that there's a huge opportunity for more entrepreneurs to come into the business due to easy availability of raw materials and a ready market.
The granite business, in Nigerian perspective, is relatively new because there are just about 11 or 13 indigenous producers of granite tiles in the country. Virtually 99% of the granite used in Nigeria are imported from various parts of the world. And ironically or unfortunately, Nigeria is endowed with huge reserves and marketable granite deposits. Unfortunately, this potential is not being tapped. So perhaps the reason for not being tapped because the business is capital intensive in nature. Yes. So what we do is that basically to start the business up, you have to obtain quarry lease, or you buy the raw materials from quarry producers or dimension stone producers. That's one aspect of it. And the second aspect is the processing, where you have the factory, you procure directly from your quarry or you buy from other dimension stone producers. You bring to the factory, you cut them and process into various sizes and shapes, depending on customer request. For the consumables related to the polishing, the cutting of the granite, the spare parts of the machineries, all have to be imported. But in terms of the basic raw material, that is granite, you don't need to import granite from any part of the world into Nigeria because virtually you have so many different colors that when polished could satisfy the needs of the Nigerian market. So as far as the raw material is concerned, you don't import anything from anywhere. And particularly in Bauchi is more endowed with granite deposits than virtually any part of the country. So we have that advantage here. We are very close to the raw material, even though the market is very far away from us.
He highlighted the advantages of locally produced granites.
The Nigerian granites are much better than the imported ones, only because of our capacity to produce in large quantities is a little bit lacking for now. But in terms of quality and durability of the granite tiles, the Nigerian granites are more durable, more qualitative than the imported ones, because the imported ones are much leaner, so they are not durable. And even the finishing is not as good as the Nigerian granites. So that's the advantage we have, because even geologically, the Nigerian granites are harder than most of the ones from overseas. If the government would be a little bit more liberal and supportive to the granite business industry, a lot of employment opportunities will be created. Because like this small factory I have, currently I employ about 60 workers. And before the end of the year, I intend to increase it to about 120 workers. So if you have agglomeration of these similar industries in Bauchi, maybe 5, 10 of us, everyone employing about 120, that's over 100,000 youths off the streets. And that could go a long way in boosting the economy, creating wealth, and also minimizing the restiveness in the society.
He also gave suggestions on how government can support the industry to enable it to thrive.
There are many ways the government can intervene. First and foremost is the government policy. Because virtually in Nigeria, the importation gates are so wide open. So much is being imported at the expense of the Nigerian producers. We have the capacity to produce the Nigerian demand. But unfortunately, our competitors who are importing from other parts of the world, the cost of production in other parts of the world is certainly different from Nigeria. So our cost of production is relatively higher. So it is brought into Nigeria at a relatively lower cost. And people tend to patronize cheap items rather than the relatively more expensive Nigerian granites. So, but if we look at it in the long-term analysis, the Nigerian granite is much better because it's more durable when you install them on the floor. Okay. So this is why the government should have to come in. Maybe they may not say they would not like to stop importation. If you are going to import, there should be some tariff regime. If you slap some custom duty on the products, so that at least the disparity between the imported and the locally produced ones will not be wide apart, definitely you promote the home industries. But as it is now, the challenge is so heavy on us. Because with the booming construction industry, if we will be given the support, we'll save the government huge amount of foreign exchange that is utilized in importation of tiles that could locally be produced here. So the challenges are there, but one has to be up and doing. They say necessity is mother of inventions. I read water engineering my first up to the PhD level, but I don't want to be a contractor. I want to be a manufacturer, so I went to the granite processing. And even though I started late, but I think it's not too late to grow. And the challenge is not unsurmountable, but for government must be aware of all these handicaps: energy, market, patronage. If government will look at those three areas, the sky is our limit.
He pointed out the different shades of granite while explaining their advantages.
In background here, we have about 9 colors in display, under display. And all these colors are sourced within a radius of 50 kilometers from the factory. Within a radius of just 50 kilometers, you have about 9 different colors. And all these colors are so exotic, so marketable. And I would like to tell you, even the villa, the Asorok, they made use of 3 of these stones. They call it the white champagne, which we decided to call it Sahelian white, the Sahelian green, which is called Bauchi green, and the African multicolor. All these, you go to Asorok, they are used in building the premises as far back as the early 80s. So if these stones could find a place in Asorok, where else in Nigeria could these stones not be used? So there's no point importing granite tiles into Nigeria, because we have used it at the highest places of the highest seat of government. So we have enough qualitative materials in Nigeria that could befit any building in Nigeria. Durability. Yeah, and the durability, like I told you, the hardness of this granite is about 8.3. Most of the granites imported in Nigeria, the hardness is between 5 and 6. So when you lay them after a period of 3-4 years, it starts peeling off. And even the finishing is not as good as the Nigerian manufacture. So it's only that people are not aware, or the contractors want to cut corners. They buy imported ones at a cheaper price and slap high prices and shortchange the government. So if the government engineers, policymakers will be patriotic enough, we'll be able to go a long way.
When he took us on a tour of the factory, we noticed the expansion and modernization of the plant as compared to what he had before BOI's intervention in 2007.
From there and there's one here. It serves as lubricating and cooling. Without water, it is not hot. These ones, they look older. I use commercial bank to import this. After paying them off, the Bank of Industry came and gave me money to start this line. Yes. So this one is about 3 times that capacity. So once we are able to, then the next 3-4 years, I'll be able to pay them back. And I'm just thinking of how to expand. Yes. The polishing machine is produced by the manufacturers at Pedrini from Italy. This machine, after cutting all this, you pass it through, it polishes the strips. And the capacity to polish about 400 square meters in a day. So whatever you are able to cut from those machines, in one day it will just clear it. So that's the advantage about this one. So it's very fast and very efficient. So after polishing, we take it to that machine. That machine cuts it into smaller sizes. Because when it comes out in long pieces like this, by the time you throw it there are sewing blades. Once you set it, it will cut it. You get about 6 pieces at a time. You can see some of them there. It comes out in this size. This is the standard size that you put on the floor. So when it comes out, this is how the size is. And then we pack it here. We package it in these crates and we take it to the market. Usually comes in this size, 30 by 60. So different stores, different colors. You don't have any additional to make it. No, it's just the natural color of the store. All you do is just to polish it so that it can be shiny. Yes.
Is this what they call marble?
No, marble is another item altogether. Marble is a rock, but it's softer than granite. Marble is a sedimentary rock. Granite is a igneous rock. Geologically, it's a harder material than marble. So that's why granites are usually more expensive than marble.